What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at an offering from the General Motors family. This is the 2020 Cadillac XT6. It's considered a mid-size crossover SUV that features a third row. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Cadillac, but I'm sure most of you are, here's a quick history lesson. Cadillac has been around for several decades. As a matter of fact, when they were acquired by General Motors back in 1909, they were already well established as a luxury automotive manufacturer here in America. The Cadillac XT6 sits in between the XT5 and the high-end Escalade, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. Today, we're going to take a look at this specific Cadillac XT6, which features the dark mocha metallic paintwork with the jet black leather interior. It looks nice. So today, let's take a look at the exterior and interior details and see how this ride has been engineered for excellence. Now, if you look closely, you have the traditional grille, except this grille has a point on it. This point is translated into the car's bodywork, so it goes from the front of the hood all the way to the rear, giving the hood some definition. Now, you also have these slim headlamps, and I love that thin, crisp design Cadillac has incorporated in this car. These headlamps feature General Motors IntelliBeam technology, meaning that the high beams will cycle on and off so you don't blind oncoming drivers. Now, coming lower in the car's bodywork, you have Cadillac's blade running daytime running lights. These really give this car a nice menacing and crisp look when looking at this car from the front. It makes it look really unique because Cadillac seems to be the only one incorporating these vertical blades in their cars. Now, these vertical blades also feature integrated turning signals. With that being said, let's go ahead and check out the side profile of the Cadillac XT6. The side profile features a bolt line that goes from the headlamps all the way to the rear portion of the car and slowly fades into nothing. Now, there is a secondary line here that goes into the tail lamps. Now, against this dark mocha paintwork, you might notice the silver accents around the window surrounds and this lower profile portion of the vehicle. That truly pops out against this dark paintwork, providing excellent contrast. Now, in addition to that, this vehicle does feature the 20-inch polished 12-spoke wheels shot in Michelin tires, again providing additional contrast to that paintwork as well. Now, one thing you might not notice since this is daytime, this car does feature illuminated door handles, which look awesome and crisp at night. The door handles do feature a button to unlock and lock the vehicle, so putting your hand around the handles isn't going to cut it. You actually have to press this button to unlock or lock the vehicle. Taking a look at the rear of the XT6, there should be no surprise as to the design language that's found here. We have the vertical tail lamps, which will probably be the first thing you notice. Cadillac has been using these on their cars for decades. Now, all exterior lighting on the XT6 is also LED, so that's a nice touch. Now, you also have some silver accents as well on the top and lower portion, and then dual exhaust tips that have accents that provide contrast against this dark paintwork as well. Taking a closer look, you'll notice there's a camera located right underneath the third brake light, and there's also a camera located right above the license plate. Why does this car have two cameras? Well, remember I mentioned Cadillac likes to throw all this technology in their vehicles, so we'll explain why there are two cameras in the back a little bit later in the review. Since this is an SUV, we might as well go ahead and hit on storage capability. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this car features 3 rows. So with the third row seating up, you're getting about 12.6 cubic feet of storage. Now, I can easily control the third row seating by pressing down on these 2 buttons, and they will electronically lower. I really like that, so they can be raised or lowered electronically at the push of a button. Now that the third row is down, I'm getting about 48 cubic feet of storage, but I can also lower the second row. So I'll lower that by pressing buttons again, and I'm getting roughly 78.7 cubic feet of storage in total. That's a ton of space. Underneath the hood of the XT6, you can have any power plant you want, as long as that power plant is a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6. This power plant provides 310 horsepower. You're looking at about 271 pound-feet of torque. It's also connected to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Your 0 to 60 time is going to be about 7 seconds. Now, your fuel economy for this vehicle is 18 city, 25 highway. With that being said, let's go ahead and check out the interior of the XT6. Sitting in the XT6, one of the first things that I noticed is that the exterior theme translates well into the interior, meaning that the clean and modern look has been executed extremely well in here. Now this particular tester has been fitted with the $4,900 Platinum package. That's going to get you semi-aniline leather on all 3 rows and a leather dash with nice stitching going all the way across. It's also going to get you an Alcantara headliner and Alcantara accents throughout the vehicle. Now this particular tester is also fitted with the carbon fiber inlays on the dashboard, door panels, and steering wheel. Now if you look closely, when the sun hits it, you'll notice the carbon fiber has a bronze accent to it. That is extremely nice. But if carbon fiber isn't your thing, wood paneling is also available. Now coming lower, you do have an 8-inch infotainment system. This car is loaded with a wealth of technology. So you're getting Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation of course, and a Wi-Fi hotspot. These are all features that you would expect to get from a mid-size luxury SUV. Now the touchscreen itself is extremely responsive. It definitely gets the job done. I do wish instead of 8 inches it was a little bit bigger, but it's definitely easy to read. I'm not squinting to look at the different settings here. And again, extremely responsive. I'm amazed at how responsive it is. Back in the day when touchscreens were first incorporated in vehicles, there seemed to always be a little bit of a lag or a load time or delay, but not in this car at all. It is just lightning fast. Coming lower, you do have controls for your air conditioning and your seating as well. The seats feature 3 levels of heating and cooled, so on those hot days, it's nice to be able to throw on that ventilated fan and feel cool from the air conditioning and then cool from the seats as well. There is some storage underneath the air conditioning settings here. 2 cup holders, you also have your gear selector, and then another knob to control the infotainment system. Now, I mentioned in several videos before that it is extremely important to have multiple ways to control the same thing, and Cadillac definitely made sure that box was checked off here in the XT6, because I can simply use this knob to control the infotainment system and not be forced to use the touchscreen if I don't like touchscreens. That's a nice touch. Again, with the technology, this car also features a head-up display system. And while I was driving this car, I noticed that if there was a pedestrian, there would be a little pedestrian figure pop up on the windshield. That is really nice. I love that in the head-up display system. So if you like head-up display systems, you're really gonna like the one in the XT6. It's color, it's easy to see, it's not too faint, and it's not too much in your way while you're driving. It's really nice to use. Now, while we were reviewing the exterior of the car, we mentioned that there was 2 cameras in the back. Now, one camera is for your 360-degree parking system, which displays in your infotainment system when you're in reverse. And it's very sharp, easy to see, very useful if you have a hard time parking. But there's also a second camera. Why is that there? Well, there's a rear view mirror here, and it looks like an ordinary rear view mirror at first glance, but it's not. If you flip this switch, the second camera turns on and it will project the image the camera sees right here in the rear view mirror. Now, why would you want that? Well, have you ever been on the way to a birthday party or had a bunch of people in the car and your rear view is obstructed because all you see is their heads or balloons in the mirror instead of what's behind you? Well, the secondary camera solves that issue. It gives you a full, sharp image of what's behind the car while you're driving, and you can use it at any time. It's awesome. It makes me think, why doesn't every other luxury auto manufacturer do this? Cadillac has been offering that in these cars for years. Coming over to the steering wheel, nice and smooth to the touch. It's thick, it gives you a good sense of control when behind the wheel of this vehicle. It does have the carbon fiber accents, and then you do have shift paddles behind the steering wheel to upshift and downshift in case you want to drive this vehicle manually. Now, you do have a digital instrument cluster, which sits in between 2 analog gauges, gives you a wealth of information. Now, I do wish this whole instrument cluster was fully digital, but again, it does get the job done, giving you all the information you need. Now, coming over to the door panels, the doors are covered in that smooth black leather with contrast stitching and Alcantara accents. Again, plenty of carbon fiber on the door panels. And then you have silver accents for your Bose 14-speaker audio system in this vehicle. Coming lower, you have an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock buttons, controls for all 4 windows and your side view mirrors as well. And then there's plenty of storage on the bottom of the door as well. Seating in the second row of the XT6 is extremely spacious. As you can see, I have about 5 to 4 inches of room between my knees and the front passenger side seat. Now, the seats themselves are extremely comfortable, definitely somewhere you could sit for hours. This car features the optional captain's chairs that feature your armrests here and gives you space to walk behind to give you access to the third row if you want to go in through that way. Now, you do have your own air conditioning controls here and also USB ports. The door panels feature the same luxury as they did up front with that black leather, the Alcantara accents along with the carbon fiber, the aluminum door handles. You have a control for each window on either side, and then some storage below. Now, one thing I will point out is that seating in the second row allows you to take more of an advantage of this full panoramic roof. So if you like having that open air sensation when in a vehicle that's not a convertible, Cadillac's got you covered with this huge panoramic roof in the XT6, which is extremely nice. All right, so it's time to check out the third row seating of the XT6. To get in the third row, it's simple. Simply pull back on this lever here on the second row captain's chair, slide it forward, and then hop in. So before I recline this chair in front of me back, I will note that the seating is fairly comfortable. The leather does feel nice. It's not as comfortable as the captain's chairs, obviously, but you still get quite a bit of headroom. You also have dual USB ports on either side, and then you have your air conditioning vents in the back here. So the people in the back don't get treated like peasants. They weren't forgot about. So let's pull this seat back. And depending on how large the person in front of you is, obviously dictates how much legroom you're gonna have back here. But you can sit here for a while. It's not as comfortable as the captain's chairs, but you can fit 2 full-size adults in the back. All right, so we've covered a lot of the exterior details and the interior details. I think it's time to finally get the XT6 on the road and see how it handles. All right, so we're finally getting behind the wheel of the XT6, and I brought my wife Ayesha along so you can get her perspective on this vehicle as well, and not just mine. But what really makes this car, when you get behind the wheel, is the comfortability and how quiet it is when driving. This car feels relatively solid, and again, the handling feels great. I have a great sense of control with the steering wheel here. It just seems really responsive. And I know this isn't like a high-end sports car. It's a third row mid-size SUV, so that's how we're gonna review it. So Ayesha, what do you think about it? Your first impressions?
First impressions, I love the outside design, the body style. You know, I like a more curved look. It just appeals to me more. I feel like the body style would appeal to a man or a woman.
Right.
Also, one thing that I did notice is that with the third seat in the back, you really can't tell on the outside that it has a third seat.
Right.
So it doesn't look extra long.
Yeah, some of the SUVs out here with the third row look like a hearse. Right?
Yeah,
and
it just looks like a boat, something huge, like, you know, and this extra space on the back. It almost looks like the wheels aren't, you know, proportional to it.
Right, and
so
they did an excellent job with the exterior design. Again, with the modern language and the simplistic lines that define the exterior of this car, it just really makes it look nice.
Right.
Now, the interior, what are your thoughts on that?
So, the interior, I think, is good.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. You have some carbon fiber here. We got some leather, Alcantara, some stitching. You know, in my opinion, I mean, you know, I always look at this when I look at cars. The overall Cadillac design is carried from the outside in.
Right.
So,
it's very modern on the interior as well.
I love that. That front grille, how they have like an angular look, is carried through here. The whole front modern is coming at an angle.
That's a good point.
You know, I always look for that to see if a brand stays true to their brand on the outside and inside.
Right, so it doesn't look like multiple people designed one car.
That's correct. So they did a great job with translating that. I must admit, these seats are very comfortable.
They are good, aren't
they? Very comfortable. I was not shocked, but shocked, you know?
Yeah.
Because you never know what you're going to get into, you know?
Right.
So, overall, I like it, and I like how the back seats as well have the same comfort.
The captain's chairs are really nice.
That's very nice. You know, usually some car vehicles will get cheated when you get in the back.
They treat the people in the back like peasants.
Exactly.
This is not one of those cars. So if you do have a family, everybody who gets in this car will definitely be comfortable. And again, you have the semi-aniline leather, which we mentioned earlier in the review, nice and smooth to the touch. But some of the things we didn't cover yet is that this car has a wealth of technology in it. For example, this rear view mirror, I mentioned there are 2 cameras in the back. One camera is for your parking system. That's going to help you when you're backing out. The second camera, boom, look at that.
That's
the rear view
amazing.
mirror turns into a screen, so it's uninterrupted by anybody sitting in the back. If anybody has any tall objects, you don't see any of that. You simply see what's behind the car.
That's amazing. I need that.
And that's a feature, I'm like, why doesn't every car have this?
Yeah, because like, okay, hear me out. Balloons. Everybody has put balloons in their car,
right.
And you cannot see.
It's annoying.
You know what I'm saying? That's amazing.
Yeah, and it makes me just want to leave it on all the time. Now, if you don't want to see the screen, just simply flick it and it turns back into a regular rear view mirror.
Great. That's nice.
I'll leave that on because you can truly see more.
You can even see who's on the side of you.
Exactly. So that's amazing. You also have a heads-up display system, which I mentioned earlier. It's nice and in color. It's easy to see, but not too intrusive in your view. And in addition to that, there's also a radar in this car that's able to detect if there are pedestrians, and there will be a pedestrian symbol placed into the heads-up display. That is incredible. So I love the way they've blended this technology and executed it as well. One of the things I noticed when we review a lot of higher end vehicles such as Mercedes or Bentley, in their front grille, it's obvious where the camera is. But the way Cadillac designed this car, you actually have to look for it. And I like how it's not just sticking out like, hey, there's a camera and a radar here. I love the way they put the thought into the design of that.
Right.
So it's a nice incorporation. Of course, we mentioned earlier, full touchscreen display. You get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation. Feel how responsive that is.
That's great.
It's almost like your smartphone, right?
Yeah. Do we have, tell me a little bit about navigation.
So the navigation, typical of any navigation system in a car. So you can just hit that and then it pops up just like that. Now you do have buttons that you can easily use on the side here if you want to go back home.
Okay, great.
Press that. And there's even a button here for your camera.
Okay.
And you can use that while you're getting ready to park or something like that, park or reverse. One feature that you might like, that I know you'll like, is that this car features wireless charging. There's a wireless charging slot hidden here, and you can just drop your phone in there.
Look at me, looking for my phone.
And it will wirelessly charge. Ayesha takes her portable charger everywhere she goes. So this is a major feature that you might like.
But
right?
It is. It's charging.
Exactly.
Oh man, yeah, it's charging.
You also have USB ports up front. USB ports all the way back in the third row. Not every car in this class has that. So I think
that's nice.
They really made an effort to just give you as much technology as possible.
Hey, can you charge my phone from way back there?
Right.
How are you doing? You know, that's what it's like. Grab the cord, you know.
Exactly. So this is just an excellent vehicle as far as being able to get up to 7 people in a vehicle depending on how it's configured. This one has the captain's chair, so it has seating for 6. But if you don't want the captain's chairs, you can have a bench seating, and that gives you a total of 7 people in this car.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you have that option.
Right.
Okay.
And for a car that's relatively, it's mid-sized, it still gets the job done. It checks all the boxes of being able to get you and your family there comfortably.
Can we talk about this extra large sunroof? Because
that is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the sunroof comes with the full shade, but as you can see, we have the shade open, and it just allows a lot of light into this car.
It does.
Now you notice that we have the jet black interior, and a lot of cars,
it heats up.
It either heats up, so you can use the shade here. It's a thick shade, it'll block the light. But once you have a black interior in a lot of cars, it kind of makes the interior feel small. And I love the way Cadillac incorporated this huge glass roof.
To open it up.
Opens the car up, gives that light in it, and kind of gives you that feeling as if you're outside when you're still inside. So that's really nice.
Right.
The driving dynamics of the vehicle, overall, that 9-speed transmission is relatively quick. It doesn't feel lethargic at all.
Oh my gosh, so that was great. That was great. I'm not whipping my head back and forth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh my goodness.
It's a smooth 9-speed transmission. This car does come with a V6, 310 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Again, this is not like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or anything. This is a mid-sized SUV, and the V6, it gets the job done.
Very, very nice.
So you do have enough power for this car, and it doesn't sound bad either.
No, I like that. I like this.
and the handling is fairly crisp. You know, a lot of vehicles you can feel the weight, especially when it comes to SUVs and trucks and vehicles of that sort. But this car feels relatively planted, and it gives you a good sense of confidence when driving on roads with curves such as this one.
Very nice.
But overall, this is just a really smooth ride. I think Cadillac did an excellent job with the overall design language. And like you said, carrying that modern theme from the exterior to the interior. The interior doesn't make you feel overwhelmed. It's a nice, clean, and simple design. And it's just really a comfortable ride, especially if you have a family.
Very nice.
So with that being said, I think we've covered the driving portion of this review. Ayesha, I want to thank you for your assistance on that.
You're welcome.
Very smooth riding car, and we'll leave it off there. So that was a review of the 2020 Cadillac XT6. Now, as far as mid-size SUV crossovers with 3 rows, this car definitely gets the job done. The entry-level price point is about $52,000. This one came out to about $68,000 after you add the Platinum package, the Night package, the driver's assistance package, the upgraded wheels, and even the captain's chairs bring it around to $68,000. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments section. I would like to give a special thank you to General Motors for the opportunity of reviewing their new 2020 Cadillac XT6. The paintwork on this car is incredible. Until then, I'm Ben Wayne, the automotive reviewer that YouTube deserves.